Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice as we continue things here for day number 2 of our open brackets. And we are down to the very last series here. So here at the battle station of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, we're going to figure out who is going to be able to take that final spot in the round of 24. We have Todd, we have Artosis, we have Tasteless. Gentlemen, another PvP for the ages, Tasteless. Esports history, Tasteless.
We've been having a lot of great PvPs so far, and I'm looking forward to another one. This is going to be sick. Again, second day kicking as much ass as the first day.
Even more ass.
I agree.
It's hard to quantify the amount of ass that has been kicked with these games.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean,
I know so.
Apart from, I think,
that's why I'm on
Maybe
the
we
desk.
should ask Todd.
That's why I'm on the desk here, okay?
Like,
I'm here to answer the hard questions.
Todd, what do you think?
I think both days have been amazing, and it's only going to keep on getting better from there.
Yeah.
A perfect racial breakdown with 8 Zergs, 8 Terrans, and 8 Protosses in the round of 24. What is this world we're living in? David Kim.
It's a beautiful thing.
He's made it happen, and once again.
Always. And I guarantee that top 4 is going to be like 2 Terrans, a Zerg, and a Protoss.
All right.
2 Terrans, really.
Did you watch day 1? Yeah.
Well, I think that, yes, we had some great series yesterday, especially the Maru versus
somebody.
Stats game. And today, we've had a really, really high-level StarCraft as well, especially when we were watching bracket number 3, of course. All those TVZs that we had back to back to back. Some of them were very long, Artosis, but they were really, really strong games.
Yeah, just epic games all over the place. I got to cast quite a few of those. I mean, everyone's looking so strong in this tournament, and we keep saying that, but then you see them play each other, and the games are just madness.
Yep.
Everything feels like it's a finals or a round of 4.
Well, let's talk about this PvP, of course. Neeb, coming off the back, fresh off the back of a pretty aggressive PvP in the end. Todd, you were watching that a lot and being able to kind of look and analyze as to what was going on. Not that common. We've seen Nexus first in the matchup, but it played out interestingly and well.
Yeah, Neeb is so good at reacting to stuff, and like he's the guy that you can expect that as soon as he's scouted, if he can see what the opponent's doing, Neeb will basically almost never lose.
Right.
He's just that flawless with the execution and mechanics. So it's very hard to go up against somebody like Neeb and somehow be successful. His mirror is so insanely good. Like, you know, he might not always admit it himself, and like in his interviews, he might sound modest, but he's just the very best out there. And that makes him so dangerous.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents, as we're almost ready here to get into our next match. And for both of these players, last year, they were able to attain a round of 24 spot. However, today, here in 2018, one of them will not be able to do so. Let's head over to the commentary team for our last series of the day.
Thank you, guys, over there on the desk. It is going to be the last series here of the qualification stage. Of course, we're going to find the last player to join the other 23 already through in the group stages, and Protoss versus Protoss to finish things off, Roddy.
Yeah, I like what the guy said at the desk as well. It's perfect balance. I mean, everybody's going to be happy with a top 24 that has all 3 races evenly represented. It's been a while, I think, since we've had that. Sometimes we have it in like the top 8 or in the top 16 where it's quite close, but 888, I love it. Everybody's going to be excited, and I'm excited for this one as well. I did my homework in this little break as well, and it is the rematch of 2016 Global Finals. Back then, Neeb was able to beat Patience twice to advance to the playoffs of the Global Finals in 2016. I'm sure Patience didn't forget about it. And let's see if he can get his revenge on Neeb.
Yeah, he's going to have to fight hard for it. Neeb adapting so well to a bunch of crazy situations in that last series. The man himself, the American champion, he can swim through land. Representing Ting, it is Neeb.
And on the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of our aggressive Korean Protoss spawning on Kaelaris. It is Patience. I wanted to say he was on the right bottom side twice. It's been a long day.
It's these long days which do drag on, but the players have actually been putting up a good show. Yesterday, even at the end of the day, we saw some very tight action-packed games, and here so far the players seem to still be delivering 100% form. Is going to, of course, Be an interesting map, Catalyst. A little bit shorter kind of rush distance. There's no ramp on the natural, so it's a much more assailable area for things like, you know, force field pushes. Any particular features you watch out for on this map, Roddy?
Yeah, I think a lot of the 2-gate expand, pretend everything is normal, but then suddenly they proxy a pylon and it's 3-gate aggression, right? And yes, the Nexus is there and they can always use it. Transitional, as TLO would say, but obviously they want to do a lot of you know, aggression with a 3-gate opening, because exactly like you said, there's no ramp going into the natural. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I think this is a very fair PvP map, and you don't get away with too many crazy things, so it's quite straightforward.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit more gas coming in to start things off from Neeb, so a bit more likely for him to open up into maybe a faster Stargate or something like that, but of course not a massive difference, just a little bit more gas coming in. And we saw Neeb not really gravitating anything towards disruptors, and Patience, you know, he's a guy who's known for his mid-game. He's known for aggressive kind of Blinkstalker compositions, charge lot armies. I definitely don't think we're going to see a match where they're both just kind of sitting back and macroing up to, like, you know, disruptors or sky toss or anything like that. I think both players are going to be making quite a few aggressive moves here. Yeah,
well, we see 2 Stalkers coming out of Patience and Stalker Sentry for Neeb. Now, Stalker Sentry is often the lead into an expand and then a robotics facility follow-up. You really need that robo in case you do get pressured by Stalkers and whatnot. And Patience, of course, known as an aggressive player. I'm not surprised that he opens up with 2 Stalkers. Let's see if it's an expand after that, or if he queues up Stalker number 3 and 4 and perhaps decide to get a little funky.
Interesting to see Patience blocking the natural of Neeb with a pylon. Meanwhile, Neeb just opting for the scout and then returning home, and he's even going to let that pylon finish. So Patience wanting to slow this down, get some information, but Neeb actually hides the sentry, so he doesn't want to show that he's made a sentry here, as that is a... No, he's going to... Oh, it's just going to go down.
I think that's exactly what he wanted to do, though, Pick. I think you're spot on, but then he's like, wait a minute, if I shoot with 1 Stalker at a pylon, I'm already revealing it, because what else am I making, right? So I think he had the same mindset as you, and then he was like, oh, never mind, nobody believes this, you know.
The single Stalker opening, not really something you do when you make 2 gateways to start off, and there's going to be some nice pressure here from Patience, but the scout from Neeb does spot that. Not sure if he was paying attention, though. He might have been microing out there in the natural.
I mean, Stalker number 5 and 6 are already on the way for Patience, so I think we have to keep a close eye on that probe. He's been chrono boosting them out as well. He does make a sentry now, so this is once again not all-out aggression. But maybe a pylon, maybe some shield batteries, you never know. You got to be so careful against those sentries, though.
He's going to squeeze the robo out here, relying on the extra sentries for the defense. That's 3 sentries, 3 Stalkers for Neeb. But there we go. He spots the natural expansion. He says, okay, there is an expand. This isn't a 1-base all-in. But he is starting to pull back into main. Maybe a little bit worried about an Oracle entering the base. He's a little bit unsure. Now seeing 6 Stalkers, he knows what he's up against. That's a lot of firepower for Patience. The shield battery's out of energy.
Yeah, but this is when those force fields go down. That second battery really needs to finish up for Neeb. But in the end, I think this is an okay trade for Neeb, right? He wasted his energy, but he's surviving. He bought time. We do have the Adepts being wiped in, though. Does Neeb still have a probe on top of his ramp? He does not. So those 2 Adepts in the main base could potentially do a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's really powerful. At this point, you're not really expecting Adepts to come in so late. Now he's going to spot it, but he doesn't have anything that's going to be able to block those Adepts from coming in. I think actually, no, the rallying probe that was already rallied to the low ground conveniently happened to be there. He just pulled it off its path, put down the pylon. A very quick reaction from Neeb.
And that's key. And then I think overall this opening stage has gone quite well for Neeb, because he's got in his way attack advantage. Having a robo against a pure Twilight, that's pretty good. He's going to get an observer out as well. And of course he takes out that pylon. I think that Neeb is quite satisfied with how this went.
Going to be more sentries coming in here for Patience. Patience going into Blink. Remember, no robo out for Patience just yet. So it might just be a big Blinkstalker timing attack or something like that. Yeah. Meanwhile, Neeb is coming in with a bit of Adept pressure, but no, just shut down immediately. No damage going to be found here by Neeb, but we'll get a bit of scouting. Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't shade a little bit earlier, right? Like, I understand he wanted to run towards the side of the mineral line, but against that army, just if he shaded faster, if he would have gone into the main base, there's a good chance he gets 3 or 4 workers, which is quite big in this phase in the game. Now, with the openings, right, the way that things played out, what I would like to see from Neeb, and that I think is the real power, is that he doesn't get Blink, but you get either Charge or Adepts.
Yeah.
I think Adepts is pretty likely with all the sentries that Patience has, and I think if he would pressure with, let's say, 2 Immortals, his sentries, and a bunch of Adepts, Patience doesn't have those Immortals, so I think that would be really hard for Patience to deal with.
I got to agree with you there, Kev. Right now, Patience skipping out on a lot of these upgrades and infrastructure. Neeb definitely ahead in terms of all that. This Adept does get in, manages to get 2 probes to 2 Adepts. Not the greatest trade, but does also spot that third gas on the natural. The Phoenix coming in. He sees the extra gateways here, and obviously some sort of timing attack is on his mind. He's wanting to check, and he sees no workers on the gas there on the natural. So Neeb's alarm bells might be ringing. He doesn't know about the third Nexus. He might be a little bit afraid of a timing attack.
I mean, Neeb is getting 4 pylons at once. That gives me the idea that he wants to start producing a lot of units. He's also getting charge. So I think that Neeb absolutely wants to run across the map and really force the fight. He's like, hey, I've got the Immortals, you don't. In a straight-up fight, my army is better. At the same time, though, Patience got so many Blinkstalkers that makes you wonder, how does Neeb run across the map without losing 1,000,000 probes at home? And of course, Patience could always recall those Stalkers later on, right?
You can just kite him forever. Hey, these Stalkers such a deadly counterattack force. He's going to be able to see everything. Intercepts the probe going into the third, already being nice and annoying there. And great micro here from Patience. Goes forward, gets a Stalker, gets out of there. Only takes a little bit of a bruising.
I mean, Patience's third base is a lot faster than one of Neeb. Neeb is going to drop it now. I'm sure that Neeb would love to fight, but at the same time, I think he also knows that if he does decide to go to the other side of the map, he will lose everything at home. So maybe it's just not an option because the Blink Stalker count is simply too high. So instead, Neeb is going to get his +2. He's going to get Resonating Glaives. But, I mean, the one thing that Patience... Oh, is he going to go for it?
Oh, wow. The army of Neeb way out of position. A blink right on into the main base. The pylon goes down. He's going to focus down a few more pylons. He doesn't want to go too deep. But, yeah, I mean, forcing the recall, that's already awesome. Kill 2 pylons, blink on out of there. And look at this freedom that Patience has behind us. He's up to 52 workers.
The Nexus. He could go for the Nexus. I think if he makes another blink, which is exactly what he does, because it's Patience, he goes for the pylon instead. Maybe he can get both, but I would have gone for the Nexus. I think that's the real jackpot there. And I actually think with forcing that recall, he was able to get the cancel.
Yeah, I mean, he does do a lot of damage, and he can always potentially come back in and get it. For now, Neeb hangs on to that, but Neeb's worker count is terrible. He's only down at 43 workers. I feel like he just has to commit to a +2 Resonating Glaives timing. He's going to be able to make a few more Archons with it, but he's got to get over to Patience's side of the map, and these Stalkers aren't letting him do it. They're already rotating back towards the main base.
Yeah, I think if I was Patience, I would just keep them where they are. Obviously, if you can snipe the Prism, that's awesome, but just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Keep linking into the main, kill probes, force Neeb to stay at home. All that Neeb wants to do right now is run to the other side of the map and fight, but Patience not letting him. He gets
nice shield batteries. Those Stalkers do take a bit of damage as well. Good micro here from Neeb.
Did Neeb kill the Observer? He did, right?
Not too sure. Looks like it has gone down. Yeah, it has.
That's a big pick off at least, because now he doesn't have to worry about the blink into the main. But I think he knows that if he runs to the other side of the map, he's going to at least lose the Nexus. But if I was Patience, I'd blink into the natural and try to kill probes.
Patience's army is just so much bigger right now. Like, the Stalkers aren't too great in a front-on engage. That's what is really the one thing going for Neeb. He's got more Immortals and Archons. But look, Archons being added in now for Patience as well. I mean, the upgrade advantage is going for Neeb, but he's down about 10 army supply.
Glaives are sick against Zealots, though. Like, if Neeb can get in a position where he drops a couple of good force fields, avoids the Archons, and the Glaives can go to town on those Zealots, then it actually could potentially work. But going up a ramp is hard, and he loses the Prism.
The Prism goes down. Nice force field from Patience on the left-hand side there. Enemy Patience has just got so much ranged firepower here. The Archons, Immortals, and Stalkers raining down deaths from above. Even these hallucinated Immortals tanking a lot of the damage. And I think Patience is just going to roll on through.
Getting the Prism there just never made it scary for Patience. GG. I think what really sealed the deal was his Blink Stalker movement, right? Blink as an opening. Sometimes people don't like it that much anymore in this day and age because they say you just die if they straight up attack you. Well, he just showed us how active to be with these Stalkers and keep your opponent on the other side of the map. And he bought so much time for himself because when Neeb had 2, almost 3 Immortals, Patience had 0. But there in the end, he already had 2-3 Immortals as well.
That was beautiful play from Patience. It's insane the amount of value you can get out of those Stalkers. They scout everything, you get damage, you keep your opponent at home. And a very nice play to start things out for Patience. It looked like Neeb was the one who was getting all the cards, right? He was going for the faster Immortals, the faster upgrades, but then he just kind of got pinned back in that position where he was committing to the big low worker attack. And Patience was all over it. He bought so much time. He was so well prepared. and he completely shut it down.
I would have loved to see Neeb attack a lot faster and not go with like charge and glaze, but just go with one of the two, right? Maybe make a +1 attack because he did have the forge early on. Just go with only charge. And what you could always do is like leave a couple units at home. You do have shield batteries. Of course, if Patience blinks into your natural, you're gonna end up losing a lot, but it also means that Patience just has nothing at home at that point.
Exactly.
So I think that Neeb just wasted too much time, but of course at the same time, Patience did a phenomenal job in buying all the time for himself. Look at all these die-hard pro gamers.
I love Drogo's hat. That's just beautiful. Got some fashion sense there from our Protoss French player. Of course, all the players watching these guys, things get tense here. It's insane to think one of these players is already going to be out, but that's just IEM Katowice, isn't it? We've already seen so many champions eliminated even before we make it to the group stage. And we're going to see another one knocked out here, whichever way this series goes.
You know, a tournament is tough when players like Stats and Sue don't make it into the top 24. I mean, how often does that happen, Pig?
A brutal bracket so far, and this man, one game away from elimination. He doesn't want to go out early. He wants to make it to the group stage. From the USA, representing Ting, it is Neeb.
On the right bottom side, Mr. Forward Blink himself, our Korean Protoss, it is Patience. The moment he saw that prism, he didn't hesitate a second.
Zero hesitation from this man. We have seen him dive into some of the most amazing engagements and some of the most terrible as well. He's a man who he doesn't second guess himself. It's his strength. Occasionally it's his weakness as well. But, you know, you got to love that decisiveness, especially when he's way down in supply. Patience is the guy who, like, hangs on, juggling, like, 2 Immortals and a Warp Prism for, like, another 10 minutes longer than he should be able to survive. He is a micro god. He loves engagements, and he loves those fancy micro tricks.
Yeah, he's the opposite of a boring Protoss. You know, every now and then we have our Protosses that like to truly sit back and build up, you know, a Death Ball or the Golden Armada. Not Patience. Patience is always in your face, wants to make stuff happen. And like you said, it's his strength and sometimes his weakness.
We're going to have to see, of course, how the players choose to play here on Neon Violet Square, the big macro map. Both players are going to be wanting to scout each other and see what's up. We've seen quite a bit of, you know, Stargate play on this map, very common. And I almost feel like we haven't, this entire tournament, seen a single Phoenix versus Phoenix war. It's almost been like one guy goes Oracle and the other one goes Phoenix. But, I mean, that's weird because normally we see a ton of Phoenix versus Phoenix on this map.
I'm familiar with that experience. I've had my fair share of Phoenix battles in disguise.
To be fair, though, I mean, if it's Roddy doing a Roddy build up against a Pretender, I mean, surely Roddy always comes out on top.
A little bit of experience, you know. Ooh, a double Adept opening. That's also not something we've seen terribly often this tournament. I still like to talk about it. I feel it still has a lot of potential. Even isn't for the fact, now of course these guys are so good that it's unlikely that 2 Adepts immediately shade into the main base and kill 7 workers and end the game. But just having it there, forcing your opponent to warp in multiple pylons or batteries, whatever you want to warp in, the off chance that they mess it up one time, I just like the devastating potential that 2 Adepts have early on.
Exactly. I mean, even just forcing a few of those buildings to block off the entrance already is damage. The information you get is great. And Neeb here with a lovely Twilight Council placement. We were actually talking about this just yesterday, how if you do want to go DT Shrine in this map, there's a perfect place to hide it. It's down there in the back behind your third. And Patience.
I don't think Patience scouted. I don't think Patience scouted the Adepts, right? Okay, well now he does.
Yep.
And that's actually a shame for Neeb that he decided to follow it because there was no probe in position. It seems like Neeb really wants to kill this Adept. I'm not sure if it's going to be in time. The Dark Shrine has already been warped in. This Adept is going to get into the main base and it sees nothing. But with the fact that it sees nothing, it actually sees quite a bit.
Oh, and he's actually going to get a couple of probe kills here as well. Nope, doesn't actually focus fire there. Does go down, but I think he knows there's a proxy or something hidden out on the map right now.
But he doesn't have detection yet, though. He's getting 2 more gateways. Patience is going for a 4-gate against a Dark Shrine opener. And that doesn't play out very well for the 4-gater in general, unless you can somehow unpower all the buildings and just buy enough time. Maybe this could be one of these weird games where we see Patience eventually proxy a robo somewhere.
Oh, this is going to get wild really quickly. Patience wants some information. He's confused about what Neeb's doing. He's saying, surely it's a proxy Stargate, right? He's got a shield battery in his mineral line. He has no idea that it's DT tech. He's warping in 4 Stalkers on the front, moving out with his own Stalkers and Sentries. He is looking for the damage, but Neeb Does he have a proxy pylon? Yes, he does. It's right there, just to the right, in front of Patience's base. We're going to have DTs hitting just seconds after this 4-gate attack.
Do you think Neeb should warp in a single sentry? That's exactly what he does. He could trap a couple of Stalkers, and now he does reveal his Dark Templars, though. Patience immediately warps in the Robo, and I can only imagine that Patience is going to let that full wall of finish, because he needs to buy time to get detection out. I would also get another pylon and a battery near my Robo, just in case Neeb is going to break through here.
I think this is really good for Neeb either way. He's immediately saying, look, the DTs are going to force a big reaction. Let's not commit that much to it. I'll warp in one DT on the front, but what am I getting? 100% a fast Nexus. I've got the expansion up. I know you're on one base. You're walled in. You're afraid of the Adepts. You're afraid of the DTs. I'm in control of this game.
Oh, poor Patience. If you would have shaded into the natural, he would have actually been able to get 4 or 5 probes there. Instead, he goes for the main base. Doesn't really get much at all. Good Viper. Good, actually. Force fields there. That means he's going to be able to trap these Adepts, and he's also going to trap the Dark Templar with the Observer on the way. But Pig, you're spot on. You know, even if this Dark Templar didn't kill anything, what it did do is just delay the Nexus for so freaking much. And Neeb already has his Nexus.
He even lets that DT in and then says, oh, wait, no, don't go near my probe. Starts trying to force field it out. The DT, though, is on a mission. He's going to take out at least a couple of them. Does get in there. The Stalker's blocked by their own force field.
Wow.
4-5 probes go down. Oh, that's massive damage. Neeb has double the work account right now.
Aye. That's actually insane. Patience getting unfortunate with the timing of his 4-gate, while Neeb with his Dark Templars, it worked out perfectly. I think you were spot on when you said that Patience really read this as a proxy Stargate. He got into the main base and he didn't see anything, but what he did see is only 2 gates and no Nexus. That means something weird is going on, but he misread it. He really expected the Stargate. Instead, it was Dark Templars.
There's a lot of units coming across the map for Patience. This is still a scary attack. Don't get me wrong, it's a last-ditch effort. He needs to win the game with this. He's not building any probes. He's going for a 4 Adept Shade run by, trying to go towards that main base, but he's actually turning and fighting. This is a little bit of an odd decision here for Patience. He's going to go through the front. If he can deep out the shield batteries.
He heal the pylon, Neeb.
Oh, he did try to at the last second, but he didn't quite get it. The Immortal gets trapped at the front. Neeb losing his firepower so quickly. And this push is going very well for Patience. It's his last chance.
Oh, the Observer.
He's got to win the game.
He lost the Observer. Neeb sniped the Observer, which means that Neeb can warp in Dark Templars. And that means that Patience is going to have to go back home.
That DT, they're already dishing out the hurt. Patience doing so well with this push at the start, but with that DT, there's just no answer to that. The invisible dude with his sword just slicing and dicing. Patience has to back off, and when you've got half the work account, you don't have time to do this. Neeb is harvesting double the income. He's making double the units. Every second that goes by, he's getting way too much. Patience knows it and is forced to tap out.
He had the backup Observer, but it wasn't enough. The Dark Templar already did quite some work. And obviously Neeb just having an excellent position early on. Got himself in a great position, having those Dark Templars against a 4-gate without the Robo. Well, cheeky victory.
I mean, it's such a shame for Patience. You know, in his mind, you know his reaction. He's like, I think I know what's going on. You're going to hit me with an Oracle. My shield battery will buy time. I'm going to hit you with 10 Stalkers and you're going to die. And in the moment he realizes what's up, it's just immediate, you know, oh damn, there's just no response to this. I'm stuck on one base. I've got to wall off and make the Robo. And Neeb pulling off a very clean, surprising attack there with the DTs. Good to see him mixing in something it's a little bit of a risky play rushing the DTs.
I mean, we saw how close Patience was to scouting it. Not once with just a probe, but also with the Adept. If Patience scouts it, it's a completely different game, right? He can get his own Robo, he can expand, and we just kind of take the game from there. For Neeb, this was best case scenario. For Patience, it was absolute worst case scenario. This worked out very well for our American Protoss, which means it will all come down to one final PvP. Arstim is cheering for Neeb. Doesn't hold a grudge despite the fact that Neeb just eliminated him from the tournament.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? As a player, you always cheer for who eliminated you, right? Because then you say, well, I mean, I lost to the champion.
Makes you look better, right?
I lost early on, but I lost to the champion, man. Like, I could have got second place. That could have been me up there in that grand finals, man.
We've got the admin checking in with Neeb to make sure everything is all right. It's been a long day. If you feel like you want to watch some more RTS, I've got some great news for you. In 45 minutes on twitch.tv/back2warcraft, the Warcraft 3 Invitational is starting. How awesome is that pick? A blast from the past, as you would say. Oh my god, and they buffed the Farseer. I'm in heaven.
Oh man. I played so much of that game without ever being even vaguely good, you know? I love Warcraft 3. I have such a nostalgia for it. It's really cool because I played so much of my childhood away on that game. But unlike someone like you, I never got into the pro scene. I barely downloaded a few replays, which is, of course, the equivalent of Twitch TV back in 2002, was you'd download a few reps, load them up, and if you were lucky, there'd be an MP3 file to go with it. You'd sync them up, you'd watch them on your computer.
Audio commentaries.
It was beautiful, man. Those are the days.
Esports in the early days. It was awesome. But yeah, that's going to be great starting in 45 minutes on twitch.tv/back2warcraft. Should be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of old school gamers. But we are watching, I would say, some new school gamers still, even though Neeb's been around for a while and so has Patience. But these guys are very young compared to some of the guys we're going to see on that Warcraft channel later tonight.
No, absolutely. But they do have a ton of experience. They've been playing for a while. Up here in the top right-hand side of the map, representing Dead Pixels in the red, it is Patience.
And on the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of our American Protoss. Representing Ting, it is Neeb. I love how Neeb said in the interview that his PvP is not that great at the moment. And then you see his stats that were provided at the ticker at the bottom. In the current patch, he has 14 wins and 3 losses in series. Like 36 and 12 in maps or something. It's like, God, poor Neeb, what a rough record.
If there's one man who has ridiculously high standards for himself, it is this guy. Neeb is just, he's always there, you know. We used to always bring back the old retweet action. Yeah. You remember he made this famous tweet where he lost a tournament. He said, I don't know why people keep hyping me up. I'm really not that good. And then he went on to win so many championships, and every time he'd win a championship, we'd bring back that tweet, we'd retweet it, so all the new eyes could see, this is what this guy thinks to himself, I'm not that good, I'm never going to be that great. Bam, he's won so many championships, so much money. He's only about 19 or 20 years old now, and yet he's already a legend within his own right.
Yeah, that was after, I think, Valencia 2016, where he played against Marine Lord in the quarterfinals, and he lost 3-0, and it was a really ugly series, but it was technically everything that could go potentially wrong in the best of 5 went wrong. Every prism flew into a random group of Marines somewhere in the right bottom side of the map. It was so sad, and after that he indeed made that tweet that we still like to bring up when he once again wins another tournament. Yeah, he has grown tremendously as a player ever since. That's for sure.
I mean, he's really learned to deliver on land no matter what's happening, whether it's going his way or not. He always seems to find a way to just recenter himself, reset his brain, and just focus. And once again, from Patience, a depth and sentry opening. But this time around, Neeb changing things up. He's going to go for the double stalker. A big part of Neeb's philosophy in these tournaments is often to keep his opponents guessing. He doesn't like to repeat his opening build orders.
You know what I'd like to see from Neeb? I'd like to see Neeb block the pylon as well. Do you know how annoying it is if you get pylon blocked and you open up with a sentry and an adept?
Oh, yeah.
Those two units don't kill.
That's where the probe runs back in and puts a cyber core down as well. You're like, you're never going to get rid of this.
And then you know you're getting one base though, because then you just, that's like blocking an Zerg twice from throwing down the hatchery.
Yeah.
Then you can't be mad when they all in you know, you're asking for it. We see the Stargate go down in the main base of Neeb. While Patience is following it up with a couple of Stalkers and now his own Nexus.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting that Expo. The Stargate play very safe when you go for it this early, whether it's Phoenix or Double Oracle. Both very effective ways of opening up. As you well know, Kevin, of course, Phoenix just being able to disable any aggression, catch things like Warp Prisms. And I mean, we've really seen for a while back in 2016, Warp Prisms quickly off the Robo quick Adept drops. So common, so popular, and yet so rare at the moment because this Stargate is just so popular. We see so many Phoenix players.
Did Neeb just sacrifice the Stalker to see if there was a Nexus?
Was it a stalk? Oh, it was. Wow.
Not something we see super often either. But
an elimination match, Kev. You don't want to play blind, right?
Especially not against Patience, who already tried to forget you once in this series. We do have that second Oracle on the way. Now that quick sentry of Patience is going to be very useful. It may not spot the first Oracle, but it should be able to spot the Nexus. Man, Patience was getting 3 shield batteries there.
He hasn't microed that hallucination. It's going to go down. Oh man, that's actually really bad. He wants to scout the Stargate, but he doesn't get any info.
He spotted the Nexus at least. He was getting so many batteries. I think he has a shield battery in his main mineral line, though. Is that correct?
Ah, okay, that's going to help him out. But I mean,
the second Oracle is already on the way. I actually think maybe a few probes on the right side could die, right? Because that battery is quite far away, and he knows it as well. That's why he's pulling them towards the battery.
So the Oracle's only going to be able to get 1 or 2 kills. Of course, its damage only overhits the shields by about, I think it's like 3 or 4 at the moment since the nerf.
Really not much.
Very, very low. So Oracles just can't really effectively kill probes until they group up into pairs, but that's what he's going to do here. And he's actually coming in here with his second Oracle. I felt like maybe he could have focused down 1 or 2 probes, but just going to play it safe for now.
Yeah, perhaps doesn't want to take any real damage on it, because there were a couple of sentries there as well. Of course, keeping the Oracles together, the moment that 2 Oracles shows up, they will laugh at your shield battery, because it will not be able to heal your probes in time. A couple of Adepts are going to try to shade into the main base, and there is nothing here for Neeb.
He's focusing on his own aggression at the same time. He's not watching. He does start to pull those probes away. Is he going to have the APM to focus fire his Adepts? No, he's distracted defending at home. At the same time, the double Oracle is going to go in and look for some damage. He's going to find a few, but this is chaos on both sides of the map, Kev.
Yeah, the SimCity working a little bit against Patience there. His Stalkers can't get close enough to the Oracles. Both players losing a tremendous amount of workers, but so far Neeb actually doing this a little bit better. He did lose 1 Oracle right now, so if I'm Neeb, I stop this. I send my Oracle back, and look at Patience. He's getting a Prism. Is that just to elevate Adepts into the main base, or does he have more evil plans than that?
Gonna have to wait and see, of course. This Oracle leaves the laser beam on and actually catches these 2 Adepts on the retreat. That is a sick pickup there. Neeb cleans up a ton of the workers. He's got an almost 10 worker lead right now. Once again, the faster Forge. He's got the sick macro transition on the way. Things are looking really good for the American Protoss.
Yep, especially after picking up those Adepts, because I really think that all Patience wanted to do is elevate those 2 Adepts into the main base and then try to get 4 or 5 workers again, just to even things up. But then that random Oracle sniping 2 Adepts in the middle of the map, that was a very good break, perhaps a lot better than Neeb was expecting it to be, because what does Patience do now with his Prism?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the potential to just elevate Adepts in, poke around, you know, do some hot pickups and that sort of stuff, but a single
Oracle
Phoenix can always come out. And yeah, that's a big scout there for Neeb, seeing exactly what he's up against. Still maintaining that worker lead. He's going into charge, so once again, no blink here for Neeb. Neeb really moving away from that blink tech in general. I've seen him do it a lot in PvT as well as PvP.
He's getting a Templar Archives already, while Patience is getting a Dark Shrine. Where is he building that Dark Shrine? Just in the back of his main base. Has the
that like sort the moment it went down. He goes back to double check. He's like, wait a second, was that?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, it was. That was a DT shrine. All right. Perfect scouting timing for Neeb, and Patience not even going to cancel it. He's just going to let it finish.
The 2 Adepts have been warped in the Prism. For now, he's just running them towards the natural. Now he's going to pick them up.
No, he might drop in the main at the same time. But I do like this forward position here with the Prism. Is going to allow him to do that. Of course, these units are going to shut these Adepts down very quickly. Only 2 worker kills will go down.
That's such a Patience thing to do. He could have just elevated those Adepts into the main base, and instead he just decides to shade into like 7 enemy units of Neeb. I guess Neeb did spot the Prism, so maybe that's why he was afraid to drop him into the main. But that was still kind of a crazy shade.
Yeah, I think I kind of like that if you go in with 2 Adepts in the main first, you try to kind of get the reaction, and then you shade the Adepts in the natural at the same time. But on its own, definitely a little bit of a YOLO, what he's been known for. You only live once, and that rings ever true if you want to have Patience, Adepts, or Stalkers. You're gonna go in, man. You're either gonna win the game, or you're gonna die very quickly.
Now, Neeb is getting a couple of cannons out of respect for that Dark Shrine. The Dark Shrine did finish up. As we can see, the first Dark Templar has been walked in already. Of course, you can always still kill a cannon if you go crazy with a warp in. And Patience is quite the crazy Protoss, so there's a good chance that he warps in 3-4 Zealots and then dives into the main with 3 Dark Templars as well. At the same time, perhaps try to strike somewhere else. He's getting a lot of gateways pick.
Yeah, that's a ton. Going to be powering up that production. I feel like Neeb's already kind of up at that gateway count, though. We see quite a bit of production here for Neeb. 8 gateways. Yeah, Neeb's just kind of ahead on that production, but he is pushing his economy very hard. Meanwhile, Patience has stopped building economy, and he goes for the triple DT drop right on top of the cannon. Nicely done. Snipes down the detection. And just going to pick up and leave. Doesn't want to get those units caught.
Oh, there's an Oracle there as well that could have potentially tagged those Dark Templars. Not sure if there are many observers out on the map. Neeb respects the Prism, so he's going to get a Phoenix.
Smart man.
Yeah, that's one of the powers, right, of opening Stargates. It's just you can shut that kind of stuff down so
There's
easily.
still a pylon above Neeb's third.
Yep.
still just hidden right up there. Okay, he hasn't spotted that. Okay, I was like, surely he's seen that by this point. Apparently not, so that pylon going to be a real annoyance. Warp DTs right into the third base, or just a big round of Zealots even.
So Neeb has faster +2, but I'm not sure. I mean, Neeb has not been building a lot of workers lately, though, so there's a chance that Neeb actually does want to fight. Now, fighting on the other side of the map in PvP can be quite hard. Patience being Patience probably actually wants to fight, so maybe if Neeb spots this, like, well, cool.
Yeah.
I was planning to attack you, but if you're going to attack me, then let's do it on my side of the map, because I kind of prefer that.
I love that. He just immediately drops gases, adds a few more probes, but now seeing the units come out, he's like, oh, okay. So he's going back into unit production. The Oracle going to find a bunch of damage, and it's just, I mean, it makes Neeb so confident. He's like, I'm way ahead on economy. I've just got to stop this attack.
Yep, and I mean, with that cannon there to fall back on as well, the prism that can be used defensively to micro, pick up a couple of hurt Archons, drop them in the back. Another Dark Templar being warped in. I'm not sure where that was. Was that from that weird pylon, or did he just warp? No, I guess he just warped him in.
Well, he's found the pylon now, finally, just with this moving back and forth. Of course, the player's looking for a concave, and it's so big on this map. Neeb got a little bit out of position. Patience gets a bit of a better arc. These Zealots trapped in the back here for Neeb, not able to complete their charge.
Run of 24 on the line here. If this fight would go disastrous for one of the two players, Neeb's army was a lot stronger. Patience's engagement was better, but I don't think it matters. In the end, Neeb has too much and will once again defeat Patience in an elimination match in a big tournament and qualify for the round of 24 at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Yeah, you can see the relief there. It's such a big moment. Once you get through to that group stage, finally, you've got a round robin ahead. No more single best of threes, or at this point, a single game to decide things. He's got a lot more lives, and Patience, we did see his hands on his head the moment he lost that game. You know, a bit of an upset there, a bit of a shame, sorry, to see him go out at this stage, but Neeb very happy with that, and a lot of American fans are too.
Yeah, strong showing by Neeb, being down 0-1, a lot of pressure, of course, on your shoulders at that point, but able to turn it around with Dark Templars in game number 2 and just a very solid game 3 overall. I was worried when the Adepts of Patience shaded into his main, but he's like, yeah, okay, you're going to do damage, but I've got Adepts and I've got Oracles, so I'm going to do more damage, and the execution was brilliant.
Excellent play from both sides there. Nice PvP knife fight going on, of course. All the players there watching as well. And we are going to be hearing from the man himself, his thoughts are progressing in just a minute. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We just had our last match of the day. It was another Protoss versus Protoss, where Neeb came out on top over Patience. So first of all, congratulations, Neeb. You're moving on. You've qualified for the group stage. We could all see how happy you were. Just, I guess, first things first, what's going through your head right now?
I never expected to make it this far, honestly. Like, I just wanted to get as much money from the bracket stage as possible. But I never expected to qualify, so I'm really excited.
Well, I appreciate the honesty, but I feel like a lot of times when I speak to you, you always feel, it seems like you're not as confident in your play, but you always seem to win when it matters most. So in this series, what do you think it was that, I guess, put you over Patience?
It might be a little bit of PvP experience, because Patience hasn't been playing that much recently. Like, I know he's been playing some other game stuff. Recently he's playing some, though. So like, he doesn't know all the PvP strategies, for example. Like, he does some kind of weird stuff too, so like I could get little leads and like I could read more into the game, I think, even though it's just little things, like they impact the game a lot.
Well, you lost game 1, and obviously that puts a lot of pressure on you mentally. So game 1, did it just catch you off guard when he came at you with Blink Stalkers, or what happened there?
Yeah, I didn't expect that build at all, because no one really does the 8 Stalker pressure anymore. So I was really confused. Like, I was expecting an Oracle to fly into my base, because like that's what you normally do if you do some Stalker pressure. But then that never happened. Like, he was just making probes the whole time, so I thought I was ahead when I wasn't. So I thought I could just close it out with a 2-base attack, but he played pretty well, and it was really scary after that, because he played quite well that game.
Well, we saw you chose to go DTs on the second map, and that was actually a really great choice, because clearly Patience did not expect that coming at all. Did you plan on doing that from the start, or was that an adjustment you made based off of the loss in game 1?
Yeah, since I lost the first game, I was really scared of playing Patience straight up, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but I was pretty scared. So I just decided to do something that doesn't really matter how good they are in macro games. You know, just go DTs. And because he hasn't been playing that much, like, he doesn't really expect that. Like, he doesn't know that you have to scout around their base if they don't have the second pylon, and he just assumed it was proxy.
Well, you were able to take him down, so congratulations again. Best of luck at that group stage. Kaelaris, let's head back to you to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much. I know a lot of fans out there are very happy here to see Neeb be able to advance on to the round of 24 and keep his hopes alive here at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice World Championship. To my right-hand side, we have Tasteless, Artosis, we have Todd. And when looking at that best of 3, I think especially Todd, that final engagement, everything went Neeb's way and nothing really went Patience's way.
Well, it's weird because the Zealots, it looked like they were trapped in the back of his army, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Like, he held on for long enough, and Neeb was just so solid in general. That includes that last fight as well. Eventually these Zealots got through, and it felt like Patience was going to commit the whole time, and Neeb just too little solid, I think, for Patience, who just sometimes get a little too aggressive for his own good.
All right, well, in fact, actually, I don't really need to ask you guys any more questions about the games that have happened here today, because we can officially reveal the round of 24 groups. So without further ado, here they are. Gentlemen, feast your eyes upon the 24 players that are going to be going into round robin.
Wow, look
This
at Group
is so
A.
sick.
Yeah.
Maru, TY, and Special.
And Gumiho.
And Gumiho.
That's
Deer
a lot of
Showtime, but that's a
Terrans.
lot of Terrans. The 2 Protosses, not a Zerg in Group A.
Yeah, but they're all in Group C. I think that's why.
Yeah,
Pack
look at
Rogue,
that.
Nerdshow, Serral. These groups are crazy.
Oh my god.
So Group B, wow.
Can we prepone the rest of the tournament and play
it-
tomorrow?
It's funny to see kind of the mixes in both Group A and B as far as race distribution here.
I mean, gentlemen, my question...
Group A is killing me.
Yeah,
It's pretty
Group A is
crazy.
killing
brain.
me, man.
My question to you guys, is this the most stacked Intel Extreme Masters World Championship of all time?
Yeah.
I would say the one that Todd won, but yeah, this would be up there.
Is that true, Todd? Or
Yeah, no, I would say the one Artosis won, but that never happened. So yeah, this one definitely has to be
there
the
you
one.
A good comeback, Todd.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's take a look at Group A. Start off, you already mentioned a lot of powerful Terrans in there. Showtime and Dia, they don't have to practice, you know, for any Zergs or anything like that coming up to this. I mean, practice, they've got 1 day's worth. But that's certainly a difficult group, I would say, for them.
Well, Deer is in headlights in this group, if you ask me. His recent GSL games, then the quality of players here, this is a hard one for him, but I mean, I feel bad. Special and TY hit each other a lot in
the 2
tournaments.
compadre.
Yeah. So,
Competing
like,
groups here.
what are they supposed to do about that? And,
That's right.
like, the level of TVTs we're going to be watching,
It's mind-blowing, actually.
it's wild. That's going to be a good
Do you guys think there's a chance that TY cannot get out of that group?
No.
Because he was pretty important. He was pretty important in the last IEM. just a year ago.
Yeah, so was Stats. He's out.
Stats is gone.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if he can actually get to the finals. TY is still looking really good in general,
Yeah.
but like in a group like this, it's going to be a pretty tough call.
You know what gets me really excited is that everybody plays everybody else. There is
right.
not one
Round robin.
matchup in these groups that will not happen.
Yes, exactly. And 3 players from each will advance into a round of 12 bracket. I'll explain all that in a second. But let's take a look at, well, we've looked at B. Now we're on to C. Any thoughts about C when you look at it?
Yeah, 4 Zergs and 2 Protosses enter a bar.
Where you going with it?
And
It's
we'll
gonna
get
have a
to
good
find out
follow-up.
who comes out of it.
That's a
In a
crazy
couple
group.
days.
Yeah. I mean, that group is impossible to really predict anything about.
Really?
Yeah, you know, as an American, I'm excited to see Neeb in this group. It's not going to be an easy one, though.
I mean, when I look at that
I think he actually could get out, though.
when I look at that group, Impact, who went through in the qualifier from South Korea, I look at all the other names around that. Impact's a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but all the other names are massive in the StarCraft scene.
Oh yeah, no, Carrol is just playing the best StarCraft he's ever played. We've got Rogue, our world champion, and you know what? Zesty played well so far, but he's been struggling a little bit more against Zerg. He did lose to Laser in Pyeongchang, so...
I feel like, you know, Nurcho was for a long time my favorite of the foreigners, but for the last year and a half or so, it feels like maybe Zergs have been coming up on him, and, you know, his ZVZ can't it hold up in this group?
Well, Group D, we have a Laser, Classic, SOS, Trap, Hero Marine, and Ryung. And another stacked group again. I think for a lot of people looking at that group, I think Marine is probably kind of the big underdog of that group. Is that fair to say? What do you think about the group?
The way Hero Marine is playing, actually,
Yeah.
I don't know about Ryung really having too much shot. I look at this group, right? A Laser has been really good. Classic and SOS, though, are 2 guys I can see winning the whole tournament.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for me, those 2 are going to come out of this group, and I'm not really sure what else is going to happen.
Hero Marine is that's a tough one. He did have a pretty hard road to get here, so we have to respect that. He could keep it going. Ryung, if you guys remember, he actually did really well last year. It had some of the coolest looking TVTs we had seen. But I don't know if that's really a factor this time around. I think Ryung is, other than that, been kind of consistently at where he's at, which is he's good, but it's not like necessarily a skill that would allow him to escape from this group.
Todd, D?
Honestly, like, I just want to get the game started at this point. E-Laser, I feel like he can do it, but it's definitely going to be Classic and SOS that are the 2 heavy favorites going into this group. So they're almost like a lock, and then it's up for whoever takes third.
Big heavyweights in all of these groups, especially. And let's just explain things as they do unfold. Obviously, 3 players will advance from each group. The winner of each group will move into the round of 8, and then the 2nd and 3rd place will move into the round of 12. Everything in the group stage will be round robin best of 3s. Everything in the final bracket will be best of 5s, apart from the grand final, of course, best of 7 in the Spodek Arena. That's going to be very, very exciting. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me throughout the day. Don't forget, though, as well, at home, there is going to be the Warcraft 3 Invitational happening in just a few moments' time as well. So
There, Todd.
I'm here, Tasteless.
Oh, my bad.
So, if you want to fill your day with more RTS goodness, don't worry, because Blizzard has you covered. For now, that does it for us here. Thank you very much for tuning in to our first 2 days of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We're going to be on hiatus for 1 day, but we will return on Thursday with the World Championship. We'll see you then.